Good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Aisha Butalia, and our today's session is on a quick review on what is MVC architecture. The students who have already studied about software engineering, they might be knowing about different architectural patterns and design patterns. Even the students who have learned software design quality testing, they might be aware about different architectural patterns and design patterns. There are various architectural patterns, and one of them is MVC architecture pattern, which starts from model, view, and controller. So MVC means M stands for model, view stands for V stands for view, and C stands for controller. It's mentioned here. Okay, so this is a very simple and yet very effective website. I'll be sharing this in the description box. You can go through it. And Greeks for Greeks is very common for a lot of software engineering topics. Also, we were discussing about this subject currently, that is distributed system. So in distributed system, you have various architectures where we had discussed in our previous lectures about peer-to-peer is one architecture, client server is one architecture, three-tier is one architecture, service-oriented SOA is one type of architecture. Okay, event-driven is one of the architecture, and uh, MVC is a type of three-tier architecture. But three-tier architecture MVCs became very popular from Java language, and Java took the entire market for uh, you know internet, where internet and different operating systems were involved. So MVC became very popular, and I personally recommend that this is a very effective, what you can say, architectural pattern as well as an architecture which can be incorporated in distributed system. And we all know that distributed system is something which is what definition I say about distributed system in today's world is anytime, anywhere application, where it is pervasive computing applications or ubiquitous applications. Okay, so internet is the biggest example of distributed system. You can use internet anywhere, anytime, and through anywhere. For example, through mobile, through laptop, in India, abroad, whatever. Similarly, mobile ad hoc network is also one of the biggest application of distributed system. Okay, you can, with the same mobile number, you change the mobile and still all your data you can get. You can talk to anybody around the world anytime, anywhere. So any application you say today, if it is going to be successful, if it incorporates distributed systems. So MVC is one of the architecture which is very widely used in all types of applications. In different distributed architectures, we discussed one of them was three-tier, and where I recommend MVC architectural patterns. Of course, there are a lot of architectural patterns when you learned software engineering design patterns. At that time, I don't want to divert from the topic, but even there, MVC is the architectural pattern which I recommend in every application. So, uh, this is the just a simple framework showcased over here. So, this is a view. View means from where the user interacts. Okay. Controller is the business logic if you want to write down. View means the UI. Controller means the business logic or the programming language you are going to use. Model is, in simple terms, database. Okay, so your model is interacting with the database. Of course, if you have learned database programming, so PLSQL or MySQL, okay, you can write a normal query, select star from table name. Whereas you can also write a PLSQL block. Okay, PLSQL block is it is more than one SQL statements in one particular block, which is written to achieve a particular task, right? The way you write functions in C language, C++, or any other thing. So this model will interact with the database and write your logic on the backend part. Okay, so when you have a client server, okay, you also have a backend and a front end. So this is like your front end, this is like your backend, and this is like your middleware. Okay, so I'll again repeat. This is view, that is UI. This is business controller, that is business logic, that is your programming language. And of course, you can do programming on the UI also, which is also called as XML. You can use XML language where you will have HTML plus coding, or you can use JavaScript where you will have HTML as well as internally embedded scripting language that we call it JavaScript. Okay, PHP and so on. So these are all languages which are used for view. So you will have UI as far as you can write the logic here. You have a specified middleware which is only for programming. Okay, so you can use any programming language, and you have a model which directly connects to the um, database. Okay, so this is all the logic which you do at the backend part is called the model. Okay, so I think MVC, what it relates, is clear from here. Now, why this controller is separate? Why this logic is, as I said, that you can do the logic on the UI part also using XML. You can do the logic part at the database side also using PLSQL, procedural language. Then why you want a separate logic again? Because this can be treated as a middleware, and middleware you can sell it as a component. For example, if you have a Gmail account, okay, so Gmail, you as a user interact with the UI of the Gmail, right? You are also a user of the Yahoo account, so you will be interacting Yahoo front page of the UI. Correct. So in case of Gmail, in case of Yahoo, the UI is different. Okay. Now you enter the username and password. So what will happen? The username will be, there will be some database which will be handling the Gmail usernames and the passwords. There will be another database which can be handling the Yahoo username and passwords. They have their own security access, everything separate. Okay, they are two different emailing giants, you can say. So the point to be noticed here is that the UI of Yahoo is different, the UI of Gmail is different. In the similar way, the database of UI is different, and the UI of Gmail is different. But when you enter the username and password, that authentication, which it happens, for example, what internally might be happening, the username entered here might go to the database and check whether the username is available or not. If the username is available, it's fine. It will take the password. Otherwise, it will say username does not exist. If it is exist, it will get the entry here. It will take the password again and check whether the password which has been entered here matches with what is written behind the username. If it matches, it will redirect to the inbox page. Okay, now this authentication, I think this procedure is common for Yahoo, it's common for Gmail. So if you write a component of this authentication logic as a separate, you can sell it to Yahoo also, you can sell it to Gmail also. Because in many things, if you want to create a brand, view should be different, your customers would be different, but many applications relate to each other. And if you have different components and service providers, in spite of making a big application in 10 years, you can, that's called service industry. So you can have a microservices platform where you can integrate different services from third party in your entire application. तो आपको हर सर्विस बनाने के लिए 10-10 साल लग जाएंगे। इससे अच्छा है कि आप एक साल में अपना बहुत बड़ा जायंट खड़ा कर लो, एंड यू कैन टेक द आउटसोर्सिंग फ्रॉम द थर्ड पार्टीज। Another very big example I can give you of Uber and Uber. So Ola Uber is using GPS, okay, for tracking and for going to the location. Now GPS is a third party. Uber is a different commute giant, transportation giant. Ola is another transportation giant. So they might have bought the component from GPS. तो उनका GPS को उनको access मिल रहा है, but they cannot do any editing on GPS. They are just getting the view access. That is why I had recommended you in one of the lecture, kindly go through my recording of concurrent transactions and simultaneous transactions. You will be able to relate more that when more than one people try to view your data, then you do not have a problem. When more or one data applications try to edit your data, then the problem is. So GPS is accessible to both Ola, Uber, even there are a lot of other places where GPS has a tie-up. So GPS thought about itself as a component, and now it has become a controller to a lot of applications. So the UI of Uber is different. The UI of Ola is different, like Gmail and Yahoo. But the services which are being provided, which the controller is handling, it is common to both of them. So if you design MVC architecture, you can actually sell your controller to different companies, where your service can be extended or used relatively to that particular application. So I hope this MVC architecture now, through this explanation, it is very simple to understand what are the advantages, why we are doing this. So this site gives you uh, the entire detail of each, which I just tried to brief you so you can study this. Okay. And you also get the advantages as well as disadvantages. So what are the disadvantages? That it is difficult to read, change, test, and reuse the model. It is not suitable for building small applications. Why it is not suitable for building small applications? Because the complexity is involved, right? You need to synchronize these three things in detail. अगर दो ही पार्टी का है तो प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है. इसके लिए आप मेरा ये लेक्चर भी देखिए, द डिफरेंस बिटवीन सेंट्रलाइज, डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड एंड पैरेलल. अगर आप मेरा वो लेक्चर रिकॉर्डिंग देखेंगे, एंड शेयर इट यू इन द डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स अगेन, so it will be clear that there are a lot of benefits of distributed application, but there are certain restrictions. आपको व्हाट यू कैन से सिंक्रोनिसिटी आपको करनी पड़ती है ना. आपको यू नीड, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, ऑल टाइम शुड बी मैनेज, सो यू नीड टू एनटीपी प्रोटोकॉल आपको करना पड़ता है, सिंक्रोनस रहना पड़ता है, डेटा शेयरिंग होता है, सिक्योरिटी होता है. तो बहुत सारे एस्पेक्ट्स है, वो हमारे चैलेंजेस हो सकते हैं. तो अगर बेनिफिट्स है तो ऑब्वियसली हम इसको डिसएडवांटेजेस नहीं कहेंगे, लिमिटेशंस कहेंगे. तो हम स्मॉल एप्लीकेशंस के लिए इतना कॉम्प्लिकेटेड सिस्टम बनाने को रेकमेंड नहीं करते, बट आई पर्सनली से व्हाई नॉट. नाउ देर आर लॉट ऑफ डिजाइन पैटर्न्स एंड आर्किटेक्चरल पैटर्न्स विच यू कैन रीयूज इट. जैसे कि आप सी लैंग्वेज में एसटीडीओ हेडर फाइल आप इंक्लूड करते हो, तो आप प्रिंटर स्कैनफ को डायरेक्टली यूज कर सकते हो. आपको खुद को प्रिंटर स्कैनफ लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है. Similarly, there are a lot of architecture and design patterns available. Of course, that's a very deep topic, but you can reuse those design patterns which are applicable to your system. तो अगर आपके कंपनी ने एक बार एक एमवीसी आर्किटेक्चर डिजाइन कर दिया, एक फ्रेमवर्क डिजाइन कर दिया, तो आप उसको छोटे बड़े कोई भी एप्लीकेशन के लिए रीमॉडिफाई कर सकते हो. एंड टुडे यूजिंग एआई इट बिकम्स more simpler. Okay, so in our upcoming sessions, we will be discussing the different types of MVC framework. But I hope this short session on what is MVC, how it is worked. Okay, internet is one of the application, mobile, and as I discussed you, the Ola and Uber and Gmail and Yahoo, two case studies I discussed, so that you understand how this architecture works. So thank you very much for your patience listening. This is Dr. Aisha Butalia signing off for this session.